Welcome back to the Pika Pika podcast. And today we're going to take a look at Pokemon Detective Pikachu, directed by Rob Letterman. He has done one of the movies that Will Smith has been in, which was Shark Tale. He's also directed Gulliver's Travels. It's written by Dan Hernandez and Benji Semmit, and it stars Justice Smith and Catherine Newton. So, the synopsis is, in a world where people collect Pokemon to battle, a boy comes across an intelligent talking Pikachu who seems to be a detective. So the whole point of this is that Justice Smith's character finds out that his father, who used to be a detective in another city, may have died. Well, he's just trying to move on, and then he finds a talking Pikachu. Pokemon and people live side by side. In his father's case, his Pikachu was also his partner, which the Pikachu doesn't normally talk, but the Pikachu talks for some reason, and he's freaked out by it. He's approached by Catherine Newton, who starts talking to him about his father might still be alive, a larger conspiracy that his dad might have been involved in. And Matt, what did you think of Detective Pikachu?
I didn't like this movie at all. Now, mind you, my background as far as Pikachu, I didn't grow up watching it. I didn't grow up collecting any of that stuff.
You didn't have a Jigglypuff, yo?
None of the Nintendo DS Lights. I didn't get any of those games. But I expected, being 2019, that I would have at least had a coherent storyline. Mind you, the population, I guess, of this movie is for the younger generation.
For this movie, I don't really see that, but go ahead.
Or at least it was meant to, but didn't probably cross the right audience, I guess. Either way, I didn't really enjoy the movie. I mean, and I give this as an example. There's people who don't know jack about Transformers or Bumblebee, but they were still able to enjoy the Bumblebee movie because it provided a coherent, somewhat believable storyline.
It's always with the Transformers with you, Matt. It's always the Transformers.
Hey, I'm saying something that someone can relate to. Whereas this particular story plot of this movie, especially when you get to the end, it just left me scratching my head. And then on top of that, the main actor was, for me, annoying as hell. They could have picked someone else. It was more of Deadpool, the cuddly, somewhat G-rated version. That's how I felt about this movie, being that Ryan Reynolds was the voice, but he had the same snarky comments that came around without curse words every now and then. But I'm telling you, the acting was, for the main actor, was horrendous. He should never, ever, ever be a lead on any movie that I would see in the future. He can be that comic relief guy. I think he's the same guy from Jurassic Park.
Second Jurassic World movie, Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, like that, for comedy reliefs, okay, bits and pieces there, but as far as a main character, no way, man. I had no connection with him whatsoever. I didn't find him believable. I just wanted that part. I was like, you know what? Get back to Pikachu. Pikachu's more entertaining than you, and watching your acting, it just wasn't believable. The storyline for me seemed like it was something that was created by like a 6-year-old, which maybe could have been the audience, but it didn't tell a very good plot. And the CGI in the very beginning of the movie, the first, I guess, 2 scenes, reminded me something out of PlayStation 2, which I would not suspect given this day and age of CGI and how well it's been performed.
This movie reminds me a lot of Ready Player One. He's approached by another character talking about a larger conspiracy, and that other character is a female, and they kind of start forming a relationship. It really feels like the same movie, like Ready Player One, but Ready Player One had Steven Spielberg behind it. I'm growing to like that movie a lot more. That movie works. This movie, at some point, I might have just gotten on my phone, and I was looking at eBay. Maybe like the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was somewhat into it. Yes, Justin Smith is annoying, but I could tolerate it. The talking Pikachu, I mean, again, Pokemon speak, but they only speak their names. But hey, it's Ryan Reynolds. It works. Somewhere, maybe like when they start trying to figure out the conspiracy, this is just so silly. And then the whole twist of the movie, where there's technically 2 twists in the movie,
Made no sense.
Is even more just illogical, especially the very, very end. You were talking about Pokemon. I appreciate Pokemon. The different iterations of Pokemon. And this one just strays so far from all that. And it gives you essentially Ready Player One mixed with a little bit of Jurassic World, more or less. And I'm just sitting there. This movie is only like an hour and 45 minutes. And it felt a lot longer than that. Then when you mix the whole conspiracy aspect, that this movie's really not about very much. Coming after Avengers Endgame, or 2 weeks after Avengers Endgame, the movie still got destroyed in the box office. The movie's not that good in general. Even when I went to the movie theater, there was more adults there than children, and it might have been a handful of kids. This movie just has a lot of problems. A lot of it is direction. Justice Smith. I think the Pikachu and like the Pokemon might be the best part about the movie. And then everything else, again, the story, any of the humans in the movie. So episode 1, Star Wars. That's kind of how I felt about this movie.
That's how I felt about the whole movie, yes. Painful interactions between characters you don't care about.
So the people are acting against CG characters. I think Justice Smith might have did a decent job of that. The story is really where the problem lies with this movie. And again, I just got on my phone. I'm checking email. Would I ever see this movie again? I doubt it. I doubt it a lot. And it's just a cash grab. Nintendo allows some company to make a Pokemon movie, and this is the best you could come up with? Like, seriously, it's the best you could come up with. Matt, what score would you give Pokemon Detective Pikachu? Pika?
I'd give it a 3.5. And the 3.5 comes from Ryan Reynolds having somewhat of a funny script. Outside of that, I would have given this a 0, but Ryan Reynolds is in it, 3.5. Everything else, terrible. Don't watch it in the movies. Don't watch it on Netflix. Don't watch it for free.
Don't watch it on Disney Channel. Don't watch it on... if it comes on TNT, just turn that off. Turn it off.
You'll probably be more entertained with commercials than watching this movie.
Yes.
Stay away.
You've
been warned.
Just watch the regular Pokemon. It's not atrocious. It is just boring. And for that, I'm going to follow up your 3.5, also with a 3.5. I like Pokemon. I understand all the different iterations of Pokemon. All right? You have Transformers. I have Pokemon. I don't care about that. I'm 100% serious. The stuff that happens in this movie, and it's really not so much about the Pokemon. Like, they're just really inconsequential other than Pikachu and then another character towards the end. It really doesn't involve anything. It's like maybe like a Muppets movie. Again, I just found it just very boring. 3.5 all around the board. If this comes on TNT, turn the station. If this comes on FX on the weekend, go to the store, maybe buy yourself something. By the time you come back home, maybe this movie is off. That's the BC Game Podcast.